I would really like to understand the concept of Srimat and Yog Nidra. What is Yog Nidra? What inspired you to, start Srimat, and how you are spreading it across?
In 2007, 8, and 9, my teacher used to come from Delhi to hold a program called Spiritual Awakenings in the month of December. So from November to January was the influx of Westerners more into our country. So our place will be full always. Every day, 5 to 8 sessions would be there. So I would be very tired. So when I meet my teacher, he used to say, lie down and do yoga nidra. I would just lie down, and I knew he knows that I don't know yoga nidra. Okay. But he'll say, go and lie down. Then one day he asked, you are all offering yoga nidra to people who are coming to your place. Why you don't do yoga nidra? I said, I don't know that subject. All I can do is to read that book. Then he gave the first thumb rule, unless you have experienced something, you should not teach. So first you experience it. That is how I started to do yoga nidra from 2007 and 8. Then one day he called and told me, see, Westerners and Indians alike nowadays want to know whether you are certified to teach what you are teaching. Because my background is bachelor's in maths and MBA in IT and marketing. Now I am teaching these things. So he asked me, you choose where you want to do your yoga certification. I chose Bihar School of Yoga, Rikiya Peeth, where Swami Satyananda was alive, instead of going to an university to do a diploma, because it is in line with our Yoga Vedanta Sampradaya, is from Saraswati Sampradaya, which is by Adi Shankara's Dasanama Sannyasis. One of the path is Saraswati, one of the titles given. And he was very happy with that selection. So I went there and I did my yoga adhyapak. I came back. Little did I know that I will leave the job, because the thought came, my day-to-day life is not the way I was working. Working is so good there. You get food across the globe every day, and you have a swimming pool, you have a steam, you have varieties of massage there. But that is a starting point. Do I want to do that throughout life, or should I just take the knowledge aspect of it? That is how the idea of setting up a yoga school happened in 2011. And from there, I think no looking back. And slowly I realized, if I give the Yoga Nidra exactly how I learned, people will sleep, because people need to be prepared. And I was very clear, I am still clear today, I am not a realized soul. So if I tell someone, don't sleep, don't do this, people will exactly do that. So a bit of neuroscience and the way we have to give instructions made me to develop Yoga Nidra from just a process to 9 levels of Yoga Nidra.
Okay.
And why stress is created? The start of the topic, we were speaking about stress. A young girl, 11-year-old girl, is also having stress, because they don't have first the idea of how to relax scientifically. And if they have a goal in life, how to achieve it, and how to know whether that goal is as per Dharma. In the Yoga Nidra process, the biggest thing is how to decide what is your sankalpa, which is your resolve. So when I studied all these things, I found that why a resolve kept like, I want to quit smoking, I will go to gym. People have this as a New Year resolve. Never happens. When I understood the science behind how to even make a resolve and embedded it in this Yoga Nidra processes, it became a huge success. Then slowly people, right now we have documented thing from 45 countries who have experienced the benefit and have had at least one desire come true in their life. And then they understand, if I walk as per Dharma, I will definitely achieve what I have to achieve. So now I'll focus on things instead of getting just stressed.
Wow.
What to do next is what they will focus. So this is the brief history of how it started in 2009 and where we are here today.
Amazing. Amazing. Um, how, Yog Nidra really differentiates from other, relaxation technique? Because from the first time I was introduced to Yog Nidra, I found a lot of similarities with Shavasana that's there. Uh, so if you can, shed some light on this.
Yeah. Shavasana is an ideal position to practice Yoga Nidra, because you don't need to fight against the gravity. We are sitting, so we have to work. We need to do some kind of effort to sit erect for longer time.
Yeah.
So Shavasana, the tradition tells if someone is able to practice Shavasana for 12 minutes at a stretch without moving, it becomes a mudra. Mudra, one of the meaning is psychic lock. It helps you to relax even without yoga nidra. But it is difficult for our mind, which is constantly active, to just lie down in Shavasana for 12 minutes. We need to so engage the mind. So when you want to engage the mind, we should know what is engaging the mind. It is the senses. That is why we designed how to work with the senses in the earlier stages of Yoga Nidra. So that even in the 12, 18, or up to 48-minute Yoga Nidra we are offering, how the mind can be allowed without suppressing it, how you can allow it to work for our comfort and for our benefit. So we understood that world over people speak about mind mastery. Nobody speaks about sense mastery. Without sense mastery, mind mastery is not possible. That is how we built the system like that. And we started to tell people don't suppress your desires, write them down first. Later, we help them to put it through the lens of Dharma and the roles, responsibilities. It's a huge thing we do. And then they started to prioritize. And one of the results we picked up and then planted it during the Yoga Nidra session. So this is how we brought the system which was confined to a very few to the larger audience. And this when this Ernst and then incident happened in India, it triggered an old memory where I lost my cousin who was in a very big position in corporate. He collapsed inside the washroom. They brought him out dead. And this incident invoked in me saying, what is that we can give? We are talking Vasudeva Kudumbakam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. So September 27 onwards, we are running this 21-day free 3 batches of Yoga Nidra. So that if you are in stress, you need to be first brought to normal. The first to normal is to understand stress is the normal today. You can't do away with stress, but we learn how to manage and reduce stress. What is that we are putting stress? That first needs to be removed. We cannot aim to remove everything from outside. So that inner work, then you gave a beautiful example of silence and sounds at the start of this podcast. How to embrace silence, because you can't silence everybody every time. As long as you are in a power or in a position, people may listen or people may become silent when you walk in. But that is an ideal situation which is not going to continue throughout life. So, despite noise, how can you find silence inside? That is the reason we built in an aspect of Antarmona in the Yoga Nidra process and told people only a realized master and a dead body will not have stress because one doesn't have mind, another has crossed mind. All of us use our mind. So, first, let
Yeah.
us accept stress is a reality. But how much of it is reality based on our needs, our pushes and pulls of life? Let us understand and streamline using the help of Yoga Nidra.
Wow. You talked about the results and the desire. What's the difference between the two?
We may have a dozen desires at any time, but in the process of Yoga Nidra, you prioritize and choose one, and you take a resolve that I will practice this for at least 21 days. You don't deny the other desires. You have a grocery list, right? When you enter into a supermarket, at one time you can only pick up one thing from a shelf because one will be pulses, another will be sugar, 2 kilos. It is in another place. So you have a desire list like that. When you enter Yoga Nidra as a system, you enter with your desire list like how you enter a grocery shop. But at a time, you can do shopping of only one item. So at a time of 21-day stretch, you pick up one desire which you feel is very compelling and convert it into a resolve by the method I was telling you, not just a statement, the way brain can appreciate and help the mind also to understand. Then 21 day we practice that resolve to come. Reasonably it comes true or we get clarity on it.
Amazing. And can Yoga Nidra be used to, cure ailments or different diseases that any individual might be suffering from?
We cannot make outlandish promises like that because the prarabdha of the person is involved. That is a black box we don't know. Because Yoga Nidra still falls under the Astika system. We are believers. Yes, science is important to enter,
Yeah.
but you can't decipher everything with science. Because even what you decipher is only the level of our knowledge. Even in science, we don't know many things. Correct?
Yeah.
So we don't promise, but we can optimize the state of mind so that anything, disease or an untoward incident happens, without changing it, how you respond to that can be changed from the reaction to response mode. Slowly, we will understand for many things we were the source, so we detach ourselves. That way, we can help people to understand if it's a lifestyle issue, they will understand how they have to withdraw. But there is an hereditary disease which is coming in that can go away along with this practice plus grace and the prarabdha.
Understood. Understood. Um, Krishna, help me understand. You know, a lot of people would be getting to know about Yoga Nidra through this podcast that we are doing today, or through different. It came into existence out after 2008 when you started sharing, and then when what I'm saying when it came into existence is the idea people getting to know about it. I have seen now it growing. Now, once I became part of the community, I have seen it grow multifolds, and I know a lot of people know about it. And you have been regularly posting on LinkedIn as well about it. But for a lot of people, they would not still be aware about this concept of Yoga Nidra, the practice that's there. And they would have a lot of deep rooted issues which have become a part of their innate nature. Now, how much time is it going to take them, or how can they once start practicing Yoga Nidra? Is it even for them or not? And how much time is it going to really take them to get out of that deep rooted things which has completely changed their actual nature? Earlier they used to be very calm, joy in talking and everything, but eventually with the life experiences coming in, they have become very frustrating, always angry, which is usually the case with a lot of people who have gone through a lot of struggles. How do they really evolve from this position to being where, to a better position? I've not say where they were earlier, but to a better position where they're happy within. Not talking about anybody in the surrounding, but they're contented within and they're happy with themselves.
We can't give any timelines because there are people who, after the first session, felt light and said, "Oh, this is the problems from my side." And there are people who appear to be practicing for years but with no results also. It basically boils down to whether am I buying into this process, am I consistent with it, or I'm practicing with a lot of doubt about it. The key is how to quieten the intellect. The intellect is the source of all these troubles. It convinces us that you have to live this way. It helps us to compare ourselves. We end up comparing sorrows, miseries than happiness. Correct? So we need to find a way to quieten the intellect, which is not possible again using the intellect because it will keep arguing. That is why the tradition helps us. It says Yoga Nidra is not a cure for everything. What are the other aspects with which we can deal with the mind is mantra based meditation. Because only doing mindfulness, if people are not guided well, they may become more stressed than before. So there is a tool which is required, like drinking water directly from tap needs dexterity. You need a via media, a glass or a bottle to drink from that. So the processes like mantra sadhana, yoga nidra, that via media. Very exceptional cases can deal with it directly. So what is happening today, if someone is having an experience of a process, they market it as if it's a panacea for all ills. It's not possible. Second, they have to understand the nature of nature itself is change. So nobody is going to keep quiet because we have to grow deeper spiritually or run a very peaceful life. Without challenges, nobody grows. So government is going to have its own share of plus and minus. Taxes are going to be there. Competitors are going to invest in research. So many things are happening. How to accept that that is the reality? For such things, intellect has to be used. And to understand if there is a system like Yoga Nidra, Mantra Sadhana, Antarmona, like giving dhana, I am earning, why should I give? They are not doing hard work. So this kind of intellectualization separates us actually. Whether you, for example, a student in our Srimat alumni, one day figured out if you are having a bowl of rasam, the soup, minimum 200 people are involved invisibly to ensure that soup is happening to you. Right from the guy who delivered your gas cylinder, correct?
Yep.
Somebody manufactured the gas stove, the vessels, some farmer did tomato somewhere, a driver was carrying it. So we tend to believe when Artha Kama reaches us, the pleasure and wealth reach, we alone are responsible for all that. So when that is denied, again we feel we alone are responsible. We don't understand we are part of the system and our work is only to be process oriented. Correct? So these are some of the things. One process cannot be a solution to all the ills. And we need to know how to regulate the intellect than getting used by the intellect beyond a level.
Agreed. Agreed. Krishna, the next question is again from my own experience of practicing Yoga Nidra to the level where I was able to. Um, I have been a firm believer since last 1 year where every individual requires a coach or a guide to evolve in his or her own life. Because as you mentioned, as your teacher, guided you to go and practice and start focusing on things, we also need somebody who can show us the path to walk on or how to walk on it or what path to walk on. The question might differ, but yes, we need somebody to guide us on that. Now, the day I started practicing Yoga Nidra, I became acquainted to a lot of emotions I shared with you over WhatsApp as well. And I started experiencing a lot of anger within me. I started experiencing a lot of irritation within me. And those emotions I was not able to explain. So, can you help me understand and evolve on this? Like, why does this happen? And how can one really cater to it? How can one guide this through and then get back on the track?
It's like housekeeping. When you do housekeeping, after a long time, first muck will come out.
Yeah.
Then only the place becomes clean. Again, every day we do housekeeping. Like every day we brush the teeth, every day we take bath. But with mind, people think once you do it's a magic, everything is clear. Once I go to the temple, everything will happen. Once I go to mosque and pray, everything will happen. Regularity, consistently, we have to do this. So when we do this regularly, initially the welling up of emotions will subside and slowly they will go off. But we should just be process oriented, not result oriented in this case. Am I
Mhm.
doing the process properly as per tradition? Now, the next question people ask me, what is a tradition? So in India, we call it sampradaya, that word, meaning we should know at least three lineages of teachers above us. So I should know my guru, my Parama Guru, and Parameshti Guru. In the new age teachers and masters, what happens is either it's through a combination of scientific study or their personal experience, they put together a product. Today, everything has become product and commoditized.
Yes, yes.
That worked for them, they think it's going to work for the masses. That way, things don't work. So we need to say, when I'm taking up my inner journey, am I learning something from a tradition, means which is tried and tested for at least 3 generations, and my teacher is the 4th generation. And if you know it, a generation is 30 years. So minimum 90 to 120 years, a process has been thoroughly experimented and fine-tuned.
Yeah.
And they tell whenever any process you do, whether it is a mantra sadhana, whether it is a pranayama, whether it is yoga nidra, any inner work is housekeeping. So we make people understand, be happy if these things are coming out because you are mature enough not to suppress it. Modern day, what is said, hey, you are a man, how can you cry? These kind of things are not right actually. An emotion is an emotion. When it's coming out, you are able to express it, be happy with it. Slowly, what will happen? We come into terms with it, say, okay, I may not understand, but I can't deny that. Let me go, let it go. Then we bring in that element of why we bring the mantra sadhana element. the devotion comes there. We say, I am doing this process, I am taking this emotion as the prasada, that's it. I have not done anything to it. It has come in, I'll accept it, I'll move away. Don't need again and again dwell on it. Slowly, what will happen over a period of time, these all things will normalize. And with like daily housekeeping, daily practice will ensure these residuals and the emotions will not affect you too much. You'll start to handle them with proper care.